an interview with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, chair of X Corp. Elon, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to begin, but among other things, everyone's attacking you for your position. What are you doing in the government? There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced.
Yes.
It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Is the website, is the internet up? Is it up yet?
It's up, yeah.
It's up yet. Okay, good. But I just was looking back. Let me just see if I get this right. They're setting fire to various Tesla charging stations near Boston. Shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Various nonviolent...
Shots fired, not a metaphor.
Shots fired, yes. Downtown New York, marching against the Tesla showroom.
People are idiots destroying America. But the people that's destroying America ain't even from America, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you. It's all these foreigners dressed up in these clown uniforms out there causing mayhem. And that's a fact.
Shots fired, yes. Downtown New York, marching against the Tesla showroom. Your stock is way down. You've been criticized left and right.
But look on the bright side.
I mean, why are you doing this?
Always look on the bright side of life.
Yes. I'm an optimist.
But besides that,
yes. I mean,
how's your day?
what motivates you to do this?
Was the opera good?
It's tough sledding.
Nah, crazy as a
It is tough sledding. But I think we're doing the right thing here. There's been a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government.
Love to be in a row with
when you're part of the
Eli
government,
and Trump.
you're sold out of that, and there's been if you look at the Inspector General reports and the Government Accountability Office, there have been many audits that have pointed out that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. In fact, there was a report issued by the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, last year. So during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. So just to be clear, that's not a Trump administration thing, that's a Biden administration thing. So what we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money? Why are American tax dollars being spent on this?
Fauci shit, y'all. Biden, Harris, Fauci. That's what this was involved in. Damn, this motherfucker in the dogs. Nearly Fuller never lied. He said they would be in the bears, but this motherfucker in the dogs. I think I'm bullshitting. The transgender man who identifies as a dog. Look. So y'all don't think I'm making this shit up? Look at this freak. Are y'all saying this shit? Wow. Shit is sickening, y'all. Look what we done came across in the morning, see? This shit, y'all. Damn. There he is. There he is, right there, y'all.
By the way, because it couldn't get uglier, you would think, spending millions of taxpayer dollars on horrifying experiments on animals. No one benefits from this. The animals don't deserve it. This time he's been caught trying to create transgender monkeys. Again, if you wrote a screenplay with that in it, about this whole moment, about Fauci, the fact the key to beating Corona might be Viagra, your screenplay would be laughed out of the movie studio. In any case, PETA has been on this. PETA has discovered that the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases spent more than $200 grand on a proposed experiment that would, quote, subject male rhesus monkeys to feminizing hormone therapy to see whether that makes them more susceptible to HIV to help transgender women. Now, we wouldn't know about any of this if it weren't for PETA. Whatever you think of PETA, this is a service to the country. Kathy Guillermo is a senior VP there, and she joins us tonight. Kathy, thanks so much for coming on. Did you make this up?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? I mean, it's an experiment that an 8th grade science student could figure out is totally meaningless. But no, unfortunately, we did not. It's right on the website of what NIH funds. They take male monkeys, they put them in metal boxes. That's where they're forced to live. They subject them to so-called hormone treatment. And from that, they're supposed to learn something about HIV transmission. Now, never mind that monkeys don't actually contract HIV. They don't actually develop AIDS. This is a study that could be done with human volunteers, and we might actually find something out that would help human beings.
So there's a lot of money. I mean, I know PETA does not support this, but I think if you were to poll people, they would say, look, if you can prove that something's going to save human lives or, get to a massive advance in scientific knowledge, maybe. But so many of these animal experiments seem completely pointless. They're inflicting massive cruelty on animals who are helpless, and they seem driven by research dollars. Is that an unfair suspicion?
That's just absolutely correct. 20 billion research dollars. And in fact, we wrote to Fauci last month, and we pointed out that HIV experiments on monkeys have killed tens of thousands of monkeys. They've cost us billions of dollars, and we have no vaccine to prevent HIV. Now, you would think that 4 decades of utter failure would inspire NIH to try something different, but they haven't so far. And that's why I think it's really important that people get in touch with their members of Congress and let them know we need leadership there that's going to make a change, that's going to embrace what we're talking about, our research modernization deal, and stop funding cruel experiments that don't work.
If you treat animals, particularly evolved animals like monkeys, like they can't experience pain or their suffering has no meaning, I mean, if that's really your attitude, and clearly it is the attitude of a lot of people in the scientific community, and Tony Fauci included, what does that say about you, honestly?
Oh, I think it says you're not a very good human being, first of all.
I think that's true.
And you're not paying attention to the science. We can't even keep these monkeys disease-free in the federally funded National Primate Research Centers. We've uncovered evidence they have tuberculosis, valley fever, even cholera. They shouldn't even be used for experiments. And, of course, what the experiments do to them, they turn them into psychological messes. They circle their cages. They bite their own arms. They pull out their own fur. It's a real tragedy.
Money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money? Why are American tax dollars being spent on this? The president's gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds.
They're not cutting Social Security, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking for fraud. That's been going on for a long ass time. I told y'all. It's a lot of people triple dipping that's out there, y'all. Triple dipping like a motherfucker. Understand me? So nah, they ain't cutting Social Security and Medicare, so I wish y'all stop with the fake news videos. This is what's happening, y'all, for Social Security. It was finding people that was dead collecting Social Security, ladies and gentlemen. Fraud. A lot of fraud been going on, man. Whole lot of fraud been going on.
Of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security. I mean, like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds, you know.
And some pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, you know, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Yes.
You know.
So demystify this. How do you do it? Okay. How big is your team?
Yeah.
Where'd you recruit most of them from? And what is it that makes you choose, you know, the Treasury or Social Security or USAID? How does it work? Let the public know, please.
Right. Well, we just basically follow the money. You know, we look at the president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started looking closely at USAID because they were completely violating the president's executive orders to suspend foreign aid. You know, what's called foreign aid, but in our view is a lot of corruption. So what we saw there is just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is, I think, one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO, and then that there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams. And
By the way,
I'm trying to put a stop to that, you know. So
I don't want to interrupt, but Secretary of State Rubio has just come out. I think he tweeted today. He has accepted over 80% of your recommendations to shut down in USAID.
Right.
So your review and analysis was spot on.
yes. So I think when people criticize, say, what Doge is doing, we say, well, which part specifically? Because we put all of the actions of the Doge team on the Doge.gov website and on the Doge handle on X. So we post the receipts. So it's like this action has been taken, this action has been taken. So when we get criticism, we say, like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like which cost saving do you disagree with? And then people usually can't think of any.
No.
You know, so
It's transparent line by line.
It's transparent line by line,
Which is quite remarkable.
right? And so, and then with respect to the Treasury, for example, the two main recommendations we suggested, which have now been implemented, was that any payments going out of the Treasury, especially the Treasury's main payment computer, which is called PAM, things like a payments account manager or something like that, but it's like almost $5 trillion a year, so about $1 billion an hour, that the payments be coded with the congressional appropriation, and that there be an explanation for the payment. Very basic stuff. And just doing that, we estimate will save $100 billion a year.
You're not really, let me see if I get this right, particularly with Social Security, you're not really changing policy.
No, yes.
You're auditing the fiscal mechanisms to make sure that, you know, from point A gets to point B, and that's where it's supposed to get to. In some cases, it doesn't get there, or in some cases, it may go over there. But that's where it's not a policy exercise. You're not changing laws. You're just doing what any business would do in a profit and loss audit.
Right.
I think we're really what we're adding here is caring and competence. And there's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting Social Security numbers for Social Security benefits, unemployment, Small Business Administration loans, and medical, where those are fake Social Security numbers. So they're stolen somebody else's Social Security number, and we're trying to put a stop to all of that. And that's the number which is estimated to be on the order of 10% of federal expenditures, which is, you know, half a $1 trillion.
It's a huge number.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
We're trying to make the government more efficient across the board. So yeah.
How big's your team?
We're a little over 100 at this point. We're
100.
gonna get to 200.
You're going to get to 200.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're recruiting from where? More or less.
Basically, it's software people, information security software people, and finance. It's basically, finance and technology. I mean, frankly, I can't believe I'm here doing this. It's kind of bizarre, but I kind of think that we've got this enormous federal budget deficit, and it's a $2 trillion deficit. It keeps growing. Our interest payments are higher than our Defense Department budget. That's I think was the real wake-up call for me, was looking at seeing that the interest payments on national debt exceeded the Defense Department budget. And that was only growing over time, which meant if we didn't do something about this, then there won't be any money for anything. We'll just be servicing debt.
And you know how to read an income statement, and you know how to read a balance sheet. You've had some business experience. I'm kidding, but you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean.
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So our savings at this point exceed $4 billion a day. Mm-hmm. So it's very significant.
You think you'll
have
savings?
I mean, unless we're stopped, we will get to $1 trillion of savings.
And that stuff can be translated. I mean, we've been talking. We had Russell Vogt, the OMB director, on earlier, through very rescission authority, impoundment authority. But I believe you said earlier, it's an audit that will not gather dust on shelves. This is actually going to wind up with real savings, bend the spending baseline down.